Hi, welcome back. Ready for more adventures with Smoky the Crow? Here we go. The long summer was over. Now it was time to go back to school. Peter and his mother walked out to the road. The school bus would come soon to take Peter to school. Smoky went with him. He sat on the fence and made funny noises. Pat saw Carol and her mother down the road. He ran down to where they were waiting for the school bus. The school bus stopped for Carol first. "Goodbye, Mother," she said, and got into the bus. The bus was full of children. They laughed and had a good time. They were all happy to be together. The children called to Pat as he ran along the road by the side of the bus. Then the children saw Peter. "Hello, Peter! Hello, Peter!" All the children called at once. Peter called hello, and then there was more talking and laughing. This was something new for Smoky. He had never seen so many children before. He'd never heard so much talking and laughing. But Smoky liked people, and he liked to hear people laugh. So he flew right over to the bus and sat in an open window. How the children did laugh at that. "This is Smoky, our pet crow," said Carol. And here's the school bus. Yeah, a lot of kids on that bus, huh? Yeah, it's a lot like your bus. A little different, maybe. But there's Peter about to get on. Oh, a pet crow," cried the children. My, but Smoky liked this. The children were all looking at him. He knew they were talking about him. Smoky laughed as best he could. He flapped his wings. "Yes, this is a great day," he tried to say. Peter was in the bus, and they were ready to go. Smoky wanted to go with the children. "Come, Smoky," called Mother. "You can't go with Peter." "Oh, please let him ride with us," cried the children. Mother laughed. "No," she said. "Smoky will have to stay at home with Pat and me." "Goodbye, Smoky. Goodbye," the children called. The bus went down the road. Pat ran with it a little way and then came back. Pat knew what it was all about. He would be down at the road when Peter and Carol came home. But Smoky did not see why he could not go. Mother held him in her hands so he could not fly after the bus. "You'll have to learn to stay at home," said Mother. "Oh, of course," said Smoky, as if to say, "I don't like it." All that day, Smoky did not know what to do with himself. Mother was at work in the house. Father was at work in the fields. They had no time to play with Smoky. Pat had been with Peter and Carol all summer. He was not very happy now because they had gone to school, so he was little help to Smoky. Smoky sat in the apple tree and made noises. He talked to himself, and the things he said were not very nice. Pat was a bad dog. Peter was a bad boy. Tom, the cat, had always been bad. Everything was bad. That was what Smoky seemed to say. Everything is bad. He's just unhappy. There were many days like that first day of school. Smoky did not like them. Then winter came. All the country was covered with snow. Smoky grew a new coat of warm feathers. He was not afraid of the cold and snow. When winter came, Smoky was left alone more and more. Pat liked to stay in the house by the fire. It was warm by the fire. On the days that Peter and Carol did not go to school, Smoky had fun. They played in the snow and had a good time. But there were not enough good times for Smoky. And here we see Smoky out there in the cold and the snow, and you see he's got a warm covering of feathers, so he's okay. He's not going to freeze. Smoky had seen other crows many times. He had called to them when they flew by, but they would not stop. In the winter, he saw many more crows go by. Sometimes 5 or 6 flew together. At times there were 10, sometimes more than 10. Smoky called to the crows, but they just turned their heads to look down at him and went their way. In the winter, crows have to work to live. They have to work hard to get something to eat. The crows found some corn on the ground in the cornfields, but when the snow came, the ground was covered. Then it was harder than ever to get something to eat. There were times when the crows had to fly a long way for food, but they always came back to the same tree at night. When Peter and Carol came from school, they could see the crows flying back to the woods for the night. In winter, many crows went to bed each night at the same place in the woods. There were some nights when the crows made a great noise before they went to bed. There must have been a great many of them. Peter and Carol could see them flying around and over all the trees. I'll show you the picture, but it's not too clear where the birds are. Maybe you can see all those birds up on the top of the picture there. Yeah, a lot of crows flying around, just looking for something to eat. Smoky heard the crows too, but he had a warm place in the barn where he made his bed for the night. Smoky knew there were other crows that lived near. One winter day, he suddenly thought he would go to see what those crows were doing. Pat would not come out to play with him. Peter and Carol were at school, so Smoky flew off to the woods to find other crows. At first, it did not seem just right to Smoky to fly away from home. Then he thought of the fun he would have, and so away he went. High over the trees in the woods flew Smoky. Almost all the leaves were gone from the trees. Snow covered the ground. There were no crows in the woods. Early in the morning, they had gone away. They would not be back until night. Smoky flew to the top of a high tree. Caw, caw, he called. Then again he called, caw, caw, caw. From far away came back the call of a crow. Smoky was not sure where the crow was, but he thought he could find it. Away he flew out of the woods and across a field. Caw, caw, said Smoky. Caw, caw, came back the call. Across one field and then across another, Smoky flew. Then he saw a cornfield full of crows. The farmer had left his corn in the field. He should have put it in his barn so the crows could not get it. All over the field, crows were eating at the yellow ears of corn. And here's a good picture. See? Yeah, those are stacks of corn, and the crows just jump in there, and eat away. Good for them. Smoky was not hungry. He had come to play. Caw, caw, he cried, and flapped his wings up and down. The crows went on eating corn. They said nothing to Smoky. Then up in a nearby tree he heard a crow call, caw, caw. This was the lookout crow, but Smoky did not know what a lookout crow was. He did not know that crows have to be on the watch for any man who might come near. Smoky thought the lookout crow was calling to him. So up into the tree with the lookout crow he went. The lookout crow was hungry. He thought Smoky had come to take his place in the tree. He flew down to the ground and started to eat corn. Smoky did not want to be alone in that tree. So down he went to the ground. Now he can have some fun with all those crows. Poor Smoky. He soon learned a thing or two about crows. The lookout crow had to fly back to the top of the tree. He did not like that at all. The crows on the ground went on eating at the yellow ears of corn. They did not stop to look at Smoky. So Smoky flew back into the tree with the lookout crow. Smoky sat near the lookout crow and made funny noises. He flapped his wings up and down. The old lookout crow had had enough of this. Who was this strange crow? He would not have him in the lookout tree. Suddenly the lookout crow flew at Smoky. Smoky thought this was some kind of fun. He flew down to the ground and then right back up to the tree again. The lookout crow saw Smoky coming. Smoky never got to the top of the tree. Caw, 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 cried the old lookout crow. Then he came right at Smoky. And here, look at them. Yeah, they were looking like they were going to fight. Shouldn't be doing that, but Smoky didn't realize this was going to happen. No. All right. This time Smoky saw that it was not play. He tried to get out of the way, but he could not. Feathers flew, and they were Smoky's feathers. Smoky found himself on the ground. Crows flew around and around in the air over him. Caw, 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 they cried. Crows have a hard time in winter. They have to work together to get enough to eat. They will not have a crow that does not help. The old lookout crow thought Smoky was strange. All the crows in the field thought Smoky was strange. He was not like other crows, and they did not want him there. The crows started to make a great noise. They flew over Smoky and cried, caw, caw, caw. The crows sat in the tree and looked down at Smoky. They sat on the corn and called, caw, caw, caw. They seemed to say, this crow is strange. He's no good at all. We will not let him stay with us. Caw, caw, caw. Smoky was afraid. What were the crows going to do to him? Smoky was hurt, too. Something had happened to one of his wings. He could move it, but he could not fly. Smoky did not know what to do. He wanted to get away. He hopped over close to the tree so they could not come after him all at once. As soon as Smoky moved, 5 or 6 crows were after him. Then Smoky thought to himself, I will show these crows. They will not run over me. Smoky was a big fellow. He was the same crow who once pushed his brothers and sisters about in the nest. So with his back to the tree, Smoky got ready for the crows. The crows came on. Smoky had one good wing, and he made good use of it. He pulled feathers out of those crows with his bill, too. It was their feathers that flew now. But 5 or 6 crows at one time were too many for Smoky. He began to get tired. At last they had him down on the ground, too tired to move. But we're going to see what happens. Yeah, there's going to be a rescue here. In fact, I'm going to let you see it. See what happens? Yeah. Who's that? It's Pat the dog who comes along and helps. Suddenly, Smoky heard the old lookout crow in the top of the tree called, caw, 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 caw. All the crows heard the lookout. In no time at all, they were on the wing, running away. Pat was after them. What has happened, thought Smoky to himself. He got on his feet just in time to see Pat run after the last crow. Pat had gone to the barn to look for Smoky, but he could not find him. He went to the woods to look for him. There was no Smoky there. Pat stopped on the other side of the woods. Why did these crows make all that noise? He ran across the field to see what they were doing. He saw Smoky. He ran as fast as he could. He got there just in time. Pat put his nose down on Smoky. Smoky made funny noises. He wanted to say, thank you, Pat, thank you. The crows had not gone far. They stopped to see what that dog was doing. They did not care what he did to that strange one. Let that big red dog eat him up, they said. The crows thought that was what Pat was doing. Pat took Smoky in his mouth and started home. That was the way Peter and Carol saw them come back into the yard. The children had just come home from school. They'd been looking for Pat and Smoky. Oh, Smoky, cried Carol, are you hurt? They saw where the crows had pulled out some of Smoky's feathers. They saw that one wing was hurt. Poor Smoky, said Peter. What happened to you? Well, said Carol, whatever it was, Pat was there to help him. Only Pat and Smoky and the crows knew what had happened. Not one of them could tell it. Peter and Carol tied up the wing that was hurt. We left Smoky alone too much, said Peter. That is why he flew away. We must take better care of him. They did take better care of Smoky. While Peter and Carol were away at school, Mother looked after him. She made a bed in a basket and put it on the floor by the fire. Smoky liked the warm fire. Pat liked the fire too. He lay on the floor near Smoky. In time, the wing got well, and Smoky could use it again. Smoky saw the crows fly by, but he did not want to go with them. Smoky had a good home. He would never fly with the crows again. And that's all for today. Okay, bye-bye.